So you're talking kind of organization to organization kind of thing. I think it would get very difficult for the board to try and react to possibly, I don't know, how many parents are there? There's 19,000 kids, so I imagine there's 15, 16,000 families, you know, kind of thing. It'd be pretty hard if you were trying to react to every one of those and not through some representative. I think it's exactly, you know, you were talking earlier, Ed, about getting elected, you know, my point is, in the last election, I was the only one who ran against anybody, I think. Well, no. Down on Hilton Head, Mrs. Bell ran against somebody. But the fact is that neither of them had gotten their petitions filled out properly. So they ran against each other. But to my knowledge, in the last election, at least on the school board side, I was the only one running against everybody. I think that's... in an active democracy, that's a shame.
So you have somebody run against you?
Huh? Well, I'll tell you, I try and look at this very, very simply. You know, I chose to do this because I felt it was something I could give back to the community, okay? And stuff. But I wasn't going to live or die whether I got elected or not. In fact, I still see Mr. White every once in a while, and we laugh about who really won the election. You know, he looks at me and says, "Well, I'm not sure you won," and stuff. But I think that's the case. I mean, that's, you know, if you're going to have a participative democracy, people have got to participate somehow. I think things like this are good. I think going through your SICs, because they have, and I want to say this correctly, they have legitimacy in the fact that they're required by law, and they're supposed to be representative of the people from a certain area of the school district, a certain school. And that's why you're supposed to have teachers on it and parents on it, and certainly at some of the middle schools and high schools, students on it, and why you're supposed to have community members on it also that don't have children in the schools. So, you know, I think that's one way to look at it. I still don't know whether I'm going to have to run again in 2012 because we're going through this redistricting. And when I look at maps, there's a meeting tomorrow night that I want to go to because I'm hoping I can see a map that's big enough that I can actually see what my district is. Exactly. Because the ones I looked at, we got an email a couple of days ago that had 2 plans on it, and both the plans where District 7, which is the district I represent, and District 11, which is the district that Mr. Washington represents, they come so close together downtown that you're not sure where they are exactly, you know? And Mr. Washington lives in a part that you can't distinguish from the map that they sent us online whether he's in the district that they're proposing that I'm in, or whether remains in the district that he's presently representing. So, you know, I want to see that, but I look at that, I'm certainly hoping that if the best thing that comes out of all this is that people get more involved and people decide to run, then that will be the greatest benefit from this whole thing.
Excellent. Let's take one last question. Did you have another one?
I'm wondering, did you know prior to or during the conversation of voting to vote to close Shell Point that in doing that, you basically were forcing those 5th graders to go to Robert Small Middle School?
Yes.
You did know that?
That was always on the table. That was part of the discussion, that if Shell Point closed, the 5th graders, my understanding is that we would be able to get by 1 year as it is, okay? But in the 13-14 school year, we wouldn't have been able to do it without moving the kids. Yes, I always understood that.
Okay, were there other board members that were not aware of that?
I don't know. the same information, so I guess that depends on who did their homework and who didn't, and whether they understood what was given to them. I always understood that. And I think they all understood that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they did.
Yes, Claudia?
Let's recall the driving force for the fifth grade of middle school is consistency in the district. We have fifth grade all in middle school. And the reason that this is a driving force is because of closed shell point, not because that's better for the fifth graders.
No, I think it's better for the fifth
I know,
graders.
I didn't ask that, I'm just saying. I mean, your opinion is one of many, you know, but I mean, that's the reason. The reason is because it's a closed shell point, not because you think it's better, not because I think it's worse. The reason the fifth graders and the policy now is fifth graders go to middle school is because of the closed shell point, and that's the only way the kids will fit in school.
Well, you may recall that I made a recommendation back in February or March to change the grade configurations. Okay? To make the middle schools 580. Okay? So I've always felt this way. Closing shell point wasn't what was driving it for me.
But that's what, I mean, that's why we're doing it, and that's what makes it, we don't have a choice, actually, we have to do it. And schools have been in Beaufort for as long as I've known, and no disrespect, that's the way we like it around here, and, you know, just because you think it's different, doesn't really matter to me. You have your opinion, I have my opinion, fifth graders should be, I want my fifth grader in elementary school.
I understand that.
You want yours in middle school, that's fine. But I'm saying it's a shame that the reason we're doing this now is because we have to, because we close shell point, not because we want to and we think it's better for fifth graders. That's it.
Well, I mean, it's not how I look at it, but yeah, I understand how you see it that way, yes.
I mean, there's no other option. Fifth graders cannot stay in elementary school.
They can't after the 12-13 year, as I understand it, in the Battery Creek cluster. There won't be enough room. That's my understanding of it, okay? But I was in favor of them doing it long before any vote was taken to close
I
shop.
understand. And